We'll record this. All right, we're going to jump right in. I think I am going to record this one just because you never know. And then if it's not a good recording, I'll just delete it because you never know how it's going to go. All right, let's just jump right in and get started. We have team meeting here at Living at 11. So I want to get through this so that we have enough time to end this Zoom and then jump on. All right, so I have a question before we get started. Today we're going to talk about leads, listings, and more sales, which we all want, right? We all want more leads, we all want more listings, and of course that ultimately leads to more sales and having an action plan. Here's my question though, and for anyone here or on Zoom, please do jump in. Can you guys not hear me?
Hear you.
Somebody tell me if you can hear me.
Hear you.
You can? Okay. So it must be a mic on your end. All right. So as long as one person can hear me, that means everybody else. And so it might just be on your end. Mackenzie, can you hear me? I see you're unmuted. Is that a yes?
I can hear you.
Okay, fabulous. All right, so let's go. All right, so question. Do you think that in real estate, Janice and I were just talking about this at lunch yesterday, that there's going to be, or that there's some new groundbreaking way of getting listings, leads, and more sales? I'm not asking what they are. I'm asking, do you think that there is? Like looming, that some big secret that no one's unveiled? And I don't mean that in a snarky way. I truly mean it. Does anyone, even on the Zoom, do you guys think that there's some new revolutionary way of getting business?
I don't think so.
There's not. So here's the bad news. There's not. And so why I start with that is because honestly, I feel even my own self saying like on repeat a lot of the same things over the course of many topics.
Mhm.
So there's only one piece of this that causes you to be successful. What is it?
Hard work.
Hard work, but in what way? Take it deeper.
Oh.
What does that mean? What does hard work mean? Because we can all think we're working hard, but on what? Like
Okay.
consistent.
Yeah. I was gonna say persistence, but
Consistency. Your database.
is that
Yeah. It just is.
Yeah.
So like, here's where we get business from, right? We get business from all the same places, all of us. There is not a team or a solo agent that does really great business that has some hidden little gem. It's either from your database, which is a combination of your SOI, people that you met at open house, people that you got from the internet, social media, all of those things. The key to the recipe of selling more houses is knowing that we are lead generating machines. And even if you're on a team, you still have to work the leads that have been handed, and they are not silver platter leads because the team lead would just keep those, right? So why would they give everybody just the silver platter leads? You still have to nurture and work those. So I don't want people to come here and then I hear rumblings of, oh my gosh, I've heard it all before. It is the same information, I'm sad to say. So we're going to go to family reunion here in February, and I'm going to come back with new, fresh ideas, but it's really all going to be recycled, the same information. So to know that if you aren't working on growing your database and then nurturing it, you have got to work on your database, and then you have to nurture your database in a way that gets you business. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to do a share screen here and roll through. So please let me know, because when I do the share screen, it reduces who's in the Zoom screen. So feel free, just unmute yourself and interrupt with any questions as we go. By the way, all of this information is already in the drive and you can access it there since I didn't print anything out. So again, how can new realtors in particular get leads, listings, and clients? You're starting from zero. So the good news to most of you here today, you're not starting from zero. You're already an agent who has had some experience. Some of you I can see on here you're either brand new or you haven't sold anything yet. So that's okay. But we all know somebody, we all know people, and in some way we can get business. So this just talks a little bit about, I'm not going to read this to you, but we're going to just roll through it here. How can you get more leads and how can you get more sales moving forward? Now, if we're particularly targeting listings, we're just doing some different things, but it's still about your action and it's still about working and being consistent on the things that we're doing. You're just targeting a different group of people. Obviously, if you want buyers, you're going to do open houses. Not to say that you can't get sellers from that too. If you're calling for sale by owners and you're calling expireds and doing things like that, then obviously you're targeting listings. Somebody recently had said to me, I think in a one-on-one, that they really wanted to focus their attention on listings in particular and what would be different. Well, it's still the same work. Most buyers are sellers. You just have to be asking the right questions. All right, so let's get into some of these details. Okay. So let's start with this. Anyone on the Zoom and everybody here, we all have a CRM. We get command. Some people might use Boomtown. Some people might use something different. I actually had a girl at Legacy a couple years ago that literally was an Excel spreadsheet person, and her whole database was an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, wow.
And I said, that may fly now when you're new, but like as your database starts to grow, how can you nurture an Excel spreadsheet? You can't. And well, what you can't do is that you can't have your CRM work for you if you've got it on, like it's so funny to me too, to see people that like to do things on paper, which I do too, but you can't nurture them from paper. You need to have them in your CRM and you need to be working your command and letting it work for you. So you need to be adding and updating and sorting and tagging and getting everybody set up in smart plans endlessly. I know Lynn teaches classes as well as we'll do one-on-ones to help you guys, with what that might look like. But I can tell you that having the proper tools work for you is going to get you more business. If we have 25 people that we want to add to our database and we add them in our database and we just let them sit there, is that going to bring us business?
No.
No, it's not. So let's see. So the other thing too is, being useful with information about real estate. So what am I sending people, in my smart plan? What is going to capture their attention? Even if they aren't a lead that's looking to buy or sell. What did someone say to me recently? They said, my whole SOI database, none of them, oh, I know what it was. I said, your database is your cell phone. Go into your contacts and see how many people are in there. Usually it's upwards of 500, sometimes even 2,000 people. And they said, yeah, but none of those people are going to buy or sell a house. That's because you're looking at it wrong. We're not looking to convince our database to buy or sell right now. We're looking to be able to have them think of us when they or anyone they know is going to buy or sell, right? So I would say that again, as you're mapping out your days in real estate, and I know some of you, I know Danny does this, I know Janice does this. You need to be having a plan as we have, and I don't know, I'll give this one to you. We have our group, our Monday workday group. And in that Monday workday, we have a whole schedule of things that you should be focusing on and working on. If this is your full-time job or even your part-time job, if it's your part-time job, you should be doing this twice a week, 3 times a week, or split it in half, 5 days a week. And you need to have a system. If you just come to classes and then you don't act on anything, you're not going to sell houses. By the way, you don't get buyers and sellers from coming to class. It's just to help you get motivated and learn some new things. Hopefully you can pick up a tidbit here and there. I am going to run into like an actual 30-day action plan here. I'm going to go through this though. Starting conversations with people. Here's another big thing. I would say that it's extremely important to, even if we're not people. I mean, I find that I talk too much all the time. And sometimes when I'm out in the general public, I don't want to talk to anybody. But even still, I don't miss opportunities to talk about real estate. So definitely being a magnet for people thinking about you, and real estate's really important. That's how you can pick up new business. But reminding our database, not only that we sell real estate, but that we want their business. It's so interesting to me that the people that will say, I just thought you seemed so busy, I didn't want to bother you. You know, it's crazy how they think that. So you have to be asking for it. And that's why we script every other Friday on all the different things that we can be saying to people to help them understand we want their business and we want their referrals. And things that we're mailing out and things we're emailing. So it's so important to have the right smart plans or drip campaigns or whatever the to-dos are, and not just have simple little just checking in, just checking in, just checking in all the time. It needs to be valuable information that they want. And so that way they can think of you, even if it is just about the community. I know that, like, I've just had my son meet with Lynn a couple weeks ago to do a smart plan campaign. So we created, or I should say they created, a 6-month smart plan. And within that 6-month smart plan, you can have up to, I believe it's 5 flyers. So if you want your emails to get read, here's a little tip. Don't have it be a paragraph. People aren't going to read it. Have it be a flyer. So you can actually embed that flyer as the body of the email. So that, aren't we all visual people? If it's a flyer, even if I don't read the flyer, I've already seen the visual. And what that visual said to me was that person's name and real estate in some way. And maybe it's just a simple generic contact me to get a free CMA, or it could be contact me for a list of things that are going on in the community. Because I'm an expert in real estate, I'm also an expert in our community. People love community information. You want to be the expert on the community as well. Can anyone give me an example? Who on the Zoom or here is using Command and using smart plans? Yay, everybody here. How about on Zoom?
I use smart plans.
You are?
Mhm.
And what does it look like? Is that Alex talking?
Yeah.
What does your smart plan look like?
A lot of what I've set up so far is just holiday reach outs, and then I'll put them on a smart plan like drip if they're not a hot lead right now, but just to like check in on them, see if they need anything.
Gotcha. And so do you have like a consistent, so what you're saying is you're setting them up in the search?
I set
Also,
them up to search, but I just got on Twilio.
Coolio? Mhm.
So I'll like schedule out a text like a month or 2 months out if they said they don't want to talk for this period of time, just to check in.
Yep.
Usually
Yeah. And so like, I think your smart plans should be a combination of emails, flyers, texts, and to-dos. There should be to-dos in there to follow up on things, even if you're, and then honestly, here's really a little good tip with your smart plan. When you have a task, write what the task script's going to be. Know what you're calling to say, and it shouldn't just be just checking back in, because that's just such a generic thing to say. It should be about something. It could be inviting them to something. It could be a lot of different things. If you're hosting an open house, invite them to your open house. It could be a lot of different things like that. Start targeting an outreach program. So like, you guys do know that there's a way of marketing that you're bringing people to you. So that would be like having, doing a post that on social media that causes people to come to you versus you having to go to them. So that's inbound and outbound lead generating. If you have the right kinds of taglines and different things, or even do a boost on social media. I know Lynn just had someone at Legacy do a I think he spent $25 on Facebook to do this giveaway, which brought him like, I don't know, 50 leads from $25, and it was for a giveaway. So that would be a way of getting people to come to you. It's a lot easier. I mean, it costs money. So know this, when you're doing marketing to bring people to you, it's going to cost a little bit of money. It's gonna cost time, however, which is money when you're doing the reaching. So that's door knocking, that's farming, that's doing all those things, calling for sale banners, calling expires. So wouldn't it be great if we can kind of have a balance of both, and what percentage of your business is doing different things? So like it says here that you should have 30% of your business on Facebook and social media campaigns. And not just solely doing that. I really want to get to the
Campaigns are amazing. I would just say that.
yeah, I use campaigns all the time. I want to go to the actual, bear with me a second. I want to go to this slide. All right, questions about that make sense. And I know, again, I'm happy to see there's a lot of newbies on here today. And a lot of people have said to me, you know, what even is a database? What does that even mean? I can tell you this, big teams, their primary role is just to keep feeding that database. That's what they do. They send them invites for different things, but you've got to have an action plan in mind. And so this is, I found online, is a step-by-step action plan for 30 days. So I would challenge you all to follow this. And again, this is all in our Google Drive. We can print this for you, and kind of show you what you can do. But again, if you're not going to follow through on it, then, you know, then you're not going to see the results. I always hear people say to me, well, that just didn't work for me. But I'll be honest, and I know, Janice, you can probably say this too. Anything that you put your energy in is going to give you results if you put your energy into it. It just is. It doesn't matter if it's, I'm going to go out door knocking until I get an appointment, or if I'm going to call expireds until I get an appointment, or whatever it is that you're going to do, it absolutely is going to be able to bring you business. Most people don't succeed in real estate because they aren't doing enough of a thing, or they give up before they start seeing results. And so I think getting yourself, it's kind of like a weight loss thing. Let's just say, if I decided I'm just going to eat good today, but I'm not going to eat good tomorrow, I'm not losing weight, you know, or you're going to ping pong all the time.
I think the problem with just society now is that we live in a microwave society
Right
where
now.
everybody wants instant gratification.
That's right.
And this is not. This is long term. You may
Absolutely.
have some
Yeah.
immediate success,
Yeah.
but
For sure.
most of it is long term.
Yeah.
It is. And I think, especially for us right now, the past 3 years has been much faster business. And so we've kind of gotten away from having to do the normal things, the nurture. Yeah, the hard work. Yeah, the hard work.
I don't mean to say that like rudely, but it is. I mean, it was like things just, I think, came easier.
It is.
And I know some people on here are thinking, easy for who?
Right.
Because you just didn't know how it was before you were licensed, or before you started really, you know, getting into your business. It was easier the past 3 years only because, one, there was less houses to show, which makes our life easier, harder in some ways, but you're not, the footwork isn't there. And buyers will go look at 2 houses and make a decision.
Yep.
That's
They have to.
fast. Yeah, they had to, because they either
The
sold their
house
house
was
or.
garbage. It's sold.
That's right. Yeah, that is not, and we're gonna start doing more and more classes about how business was before that. Balanced market's just an easier market to me anyway. We all, of course, can say it's depending on if you work with sellers or buyers. If you like this past market, I particularly work for sellers, so it was a lot easier for me than, because I don't work with a lot of buyers. You miss out on things and it starts getting frustrating and you feel like you're working for free, which, by the way, you are. So a lot of this is mindset too. No, so think about this, guys. Everything you do, every stream of income, from a source of business, you should have a particular goal about. So like, I know, Danny, you do a handful of things. So one, if I said to you, Danny, and I'm going to put you on the spot, or anybody else here on the Zoom, tell me 3 to 4 different streams of business that you're going after.
Like right now,
Yeah,
currently.
right now, what are 3 or 4 streams of business you're going after?
So my database expires in FISBOs.
There you go. So database, expireds, and FISBOs.
It's all you read.
And yeah, and I know that, and I know you're doing that because we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
And so so all of you on here should know, what are the sources of business that I'm going after?
I should do that regularly.
Yeah, and you should stick to it at least for a little bit. You can't just wishy-washy it for a little while. If you don't dig deep, you're not going to see the results. And then here's the mindset part of it. I work for free for a really long time until it finally pops, right? So that means that you have to keep at it and just know that this is not a job where you're gonna get a paycheck on Friday or once a month or whatever. But the payout is so much more if you can keep at it. So what I would love to do, I would love for everybody on here to text Janice or I sometime later today or tomorrow, telling us what are your top 3 to 4 sources of business. I'm not asking you to track your numbers because some of you haven't sold any houses yet. Tell me what are 3 to 4 sources of business that you're going to be going after starting right now, January in 2024. If you don't know right off the spot, like how I know Danny and I called on you because I know you know, but if I just randomly started selecting people on the Zoom, people might just freak out and not unmute themselves because I know a lot of you don't know the answer to that question. So if you don't know at least 3 sources of business that you're going after, you need to figure it out. We're here to teach you, but can I also say again, this is just a plug to KW as always. You don't have these questions asked to you down at Century 21 or at Cutler or Howard Hanna or any of the other brokerages. You just don't, you know why? Because there's no one who's responsible for your education there. You are on your own and you go to a meeting once a week or once a month and they have a topic. There's not somebody who's holding you accountable and trying to help you. So we at KW endlessly beat our head on the wall to have education committees and have coaching people talking about how can we bring you more information and better information and more information endlessly. However, you guys will not sell houses if you don't do the work. We don't do the work for you. We just give you the information. You have to be responsible to do the work. We've even created an environment where you can come in every Monday for the whole day and work side by side with your fellow agents at each of the market centers. Because if you don't feel like you're disciplined enough to do it from home or on the go, that you can come in every single Monday for 8 hours and work side by side with other agents. But again, you can decide how disciplined you are to do the things. So first to do for today is for you to tell Janice or I, depending on which office you're with, what are 3 sources of business you're planning on going after or you're currently going after? And like Danny said, it could be FSBOs, it could be for sale by, it could be expireds, it could be your database and SOI, it could be social media, it could be Zillow, it could be any number of things. It could be farming neighborhoods, networking in different groups. There's a million of things that you can be doing. And so I'd like to know what those things are so that we can help you understand the next thing that I'm going to have you do. Then I want to know, so all we need to know by today or tomorrow is the sources. Your next step that I'd love to know by Monday is, what is your plan that you're currently working? So like, I'll ask you, Danny, what are you doing with for sale by owners? I'm just going to pick that one thing. What are you doing for
you're good.
Keldos?
So I normally, I don't call them because one, I don't call people. And I know I would get like a lot of like flashback from you and Janice about that, but I religiously recently have been looking at Facebook, other real estate masterminds and other things. And I hear these horror stories of these FSBOs getting bombarded with other agents calling them. And I'm like, I'm trying to set myself apart from other agents.
Okay.
Let me text them and respond with a video. So I just started that actually this week.
Okay.
And that's actually going really well. I'm getting a lot more responses than I have in the past. So I think that's benefit.
Okay.
So I'm just starting off with the script first. I'm just saying, hey, is this the owner of blah blah blah? And then I follow up with, all right, when can I come see it? I have some buyers. And then go from there.
Okay, I like it. So like, I'll be honest, I'm the kind of a consumer that would be more likely to respond to a text than
Yeah.
answer the phone.
I agree. I am too. And I feel like if that's how I feel and I'm 22, like then I feel like that's how other, like-minded.
I think there's a few different reasons why. I'm busy and up on the go, and I could be sitting someplace where I can't talk on the phone,
Mhm.
but I can respond to a text.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to take the time to talk because it's gonna be longer and I can quickly read and then get back to a text message for sure. So I think we are in that world, but I love that you're doing a video because I don't know what I just read yesterday or was listening to something. And it said something about hearing your voice
Mhm.
is going to make a connection
Yeah,
and make them remember you more than just not hearing your voice. So that's why it kind of, I don't know why I don't remember because I'm always doing a million things, but it said also, it goes against what I had said previously, which is call and hang up and don't leave a message and then call back and answer is the opposite of
I
that.
tried that.
Yeah, well, and because then they'll answer, but and I don't mean immediately, I mean, they'll see the number again,
Yeah.
maybe the next day and then answer.
Yeah, they do.
And they'll be like, okay, this must be the same person, so I'm gonna answer. It's a local number. But what I was listening to yesterday said quite the opposite. Even a voicemail of hearing your voice, even the split second that they're listening and then they're deleting it, they still heard you and somewhere it gets in there and they remember you more because of that. So it might not be a bad idea to know that, but if you're doing videos, that's great because they're seeing you and they're hearing you and I love that idea.
Yeah.
Bombs is a thing that you can do, Bomb videos. It's a site that you can use to create videos that look really good that you can text. So that's a company that provides different templates with videos that way too. So by Monday, I'd love to know then what is your plan for the 3 sources of business that you're telling Denise and I that you're working on? Then what is your plan? So we've taught classes on for sale by owners. We've taught classes on explorers. We've taught classes on, well, pretty much everything. I'm now just recycling and recreating and making them better. There's nothing that we haven't taught a class on in regards to lead generating. So for those of you that are new, you have access to the Google Drive. There's a bunch of information in there. If you really are just brand new, because I can see there's a couple of you on here that are fresh, just passed your test or just transferred over, or just haven't been quite ready to get your business running. I don't expect you to know the answer to how you're going to put a plan together for working for sale by owners, for example. And that's okay, because that's what we're here for, to help you with. So I would love to then meet with you to help you put together that plan if you don't have one. And so again, you can say I'm going to work my database, but what does that even mean? What does that mean? So I need to know where my sources of business are that I'm working on. And then I need to have a plan around how I'm going to get business. So again, I'm going to use Danny's example of for sale by owners. You need to know, here's the things you need to know. Who am I targeting? What location and price range am I targeting for sale by owners? And where am I getting the information? Am I driving around or am I going on Zillow every morning and typing in a range? Where am I getting the information at? And then what's my script? Whether I'm texting or I'm calling, what's my script? And then what's my second step? There needs to be more than one step, guys. If you think that you're only calling a for sale by owner one time and you're going to get what you're looking for, you're sadly mistaken. In the Google Drive here, we have a 8-week plan that is a series of texts, calls, and emails that we teach a class on. 8 weeks.
What?
It's in the drive, in for sale by owner folder.
I don't do it, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
I pretty much do
Take
it.
even you do it, but
Yeah.
there's different, and you do, because we've talked about it.
Yeah.
There's different topics for each reach. So that means whether it's a call or a text, there's a different topic. And we really worked hard on, I got information from different teams. In particular, Jose's team was kind enough to share their plan with me. And then I pulled together plans and things that other teams that are successful are doing. And that's how I kind of created those topics. And for example, one is, did you know that you need a consumer guide and and an agency, or you need a property disclosure and some things like that. And a lead-based paint, depending on the area. And most of the time they don't know. So your topic of your first reach isn't, I have a buyer and can I come see the house, which is what everybody is saying. It's coming from a place of service. And then the next one has a different thing. And nowhere in the conversation is it the same stuff that other agents are saying. And that's what's going to get you noticed.
That's in the drive.
It is
Okay.
in the FISBO folder.
As well.
Mhm.
Okay.
And one of the things, for example, is So, hey, Danny, I see your house is for sale by owner, blah, blah, blah. We've talked a couple times in the past month. I wondered if it would be okay if I can host an open house for you. Did you know that agents can host the open house? I can market it. And all I ask in return is that I get the buyer that for your house, you would be willing to pay me a 3% commission because I brought the buyer. That's a thing that people aren't offering and asking, what some big teams are. So that's just an example. So having a plan around that and digging deep with it. So whatever it is that you're doing in that source of business, you need to have a plan around it because two things happen if you don't have a plan. You'll do nothing. You can say you're working for sale by owners, but if you're loosey-goosing it all the time, you're not going to get anywhere, and then you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to stop doing it. So, who would like to on the Zoom tell me 3 sources of business besides the 3 that Danny mentioned that you know you're working on for your business, even if it's just one?
I can go.
Yep, go ahead.
I'm doing for sale by owner calls, SOI, social media, and open houses for buyers.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you, Alex, have a plan, like an actual plan, not just in your head, a written plan of what those steps are looking like to get business from those sources?
Yes, I do. I don't have one for my social media yet. I have one for my for sale by owners, for open houses, and for my SOI. So I'm working on my social media one this week.
Awesome. And I love that you know that you don't have a plan. So that's the other thing. Some people don't even realize it, and that you know you don't have a plan around it, but that you are actually putting one together. So I'm assuming since you said you're working on it this week, that's something that's, sorry guys, the copier's right behind us. That you have it on your calendar to do.
Yeah. So I have been time blocking my days, especially going into this year. I'm trying to really just hardcore stick to my time blocking, but that's one of my major things for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
All right. So here is a 30-day step-by-step activity and description. So it just goes through what should I be focusing on each day. And so day 1, your CRM. And so not only do I have one and am I working it, but to have a plan together, which says this, I'm going to put 5 people every day in my CRM. Or I'm going to put 25 people a week, or depending on what my goals are, maybe it's 5 a week, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be 25. It could be 5, or it could be 50. It depends on whatever it is, because we not only have to nurture our database, we have to feed it. So again, I know people look at me and ask this question, where am I getting 5 people a day to add to my database? Will you guys tell me where?
Or I don't have kids. Have anything with kids that you attend their events or whatever. That'd be my first go-to if I had.
And if it's 5 a day, it's actually a very low number. I'll tell you something I did. In the fall, I sponsored a pickleball tournament called Dink for Pink. And guess what happened when I sponsored it? I got everybody's information that was in the tournament, which was 120 people. And so if I wanted to take that and stretch it 5 people a day, I'd have weeks of people to add to my database. If I host an open house every single Sunday and 2 people come, that's still somebody.
2 people to your database.
That's right. And I'll say this, the book that you all are reading here at Living, which I'm trying to get everybody in on, the 10 times is
Greater than 2.
greater than 2 times. I don't know, I can't put that name in my head. That proves that. So you can, as long as you're doing it, it's going to be just as easy to do it. And then you won't stop there. You'll go, so you'll get your 2 because you were stretching for 10, I guess. And you guys all know who've done GPSs with me. I like to do goals and stretch goals. So your goal might be 10 houses, but your stretch goal was 18. Or something like that. So you'll definitely hit your 10 then. So having your CRM and making a commitment on your calendar, because this is your full or part-time job. I hope that this is your full or part-time job. Even if it's a hobby, I'm going to commit to 5 hours a week. And even then, you should have something on a calendar or in some way that you're working on your business. If you really only want to be an agent who sells houses to friends and family, and that's okay too, because some people, that's what they want to do. I have another job or I do this other thing and I only want to sell if someone pops up and calls me, and that's okay too. But those people won't pop up and call you if you don't, or if you're not doing something about it. They'll forget that you sell real estate. Even your own siblings could potentially forget. So making a plan with your CRM of how you're going to feed it, and then making sure that you're auditing it to go back to see whose names, numbers, email addresses, and home addresses do I have? And then fill in those blanks. That's a to-do for you. That's a task for this week. And go back in and audit that. And you should be auditing your database once a month to see where are my blanks. Don't not add them because you don't have all their contact information. Add them anyway, and then go back and filter it. And they should all have a tag too. So mastering, so that would lead into mastering your CRM and going back and auditing it and filling in those blanks. I always get ahead of myself. And then set production goals. We should have little goals along the way. So again, if you're calling for sale by owners, my goal would be, I want to call 10 today. Or my goal is I want 2 of them to have a meaningful conversation with me. Write those things down. That's why we do the vision boards. That's why we do a GPS and we do things like that, because it helps you visualize what it is you're striving for. But I also think it's important to have daily goals and have, write those things down. What is it I'm trying to achieve today? Some people, I just want to make 100 phone calls. That's okay. If your goal is make 100 phone calls, that you can keep going till you hit 100. I like to have the goal where I have a certain amount of meaningful conversations, because we can sit there and behind a dialer and just keep calling. But if you don't have a result of any meaningful conversations, what did it actually do? What did it actually get you? And then having a plan around that. Here's for people that have been in the business again. I had somebody last week on a team meeting talking about, I think he said he sold 46 houses and he wants to sell twice that this year. So he took an inventory of his track record the past year, and now he's just doubling down on that. So it's simple math there. If I sold 20 houses and I want to sell 40 houses, then I just have to do twice as much work. And then it really does come to simple math for that. Here's developing your sales skills. So more than ever before, we are going to have to get skillful. It's not just about the actions and who I know and, how many calls I make. It's going to come down to competition between who's the professional.
Yes.
If I'm a for sale by owner, some of it might be this consistent guy keeps calling me or texting me with his videos, and I like him because he's staying on top of it. But bottom line, if I'm a seller or a buyer, there's going to come a point where I'm saying, okay, 5 people I know in real estate, it's going to come down to who's most professional, whose skill is going to get me the best price for my house or get me the best price when I'm buying a house. And so more than ever that you guys have been in the business, for those of you who've been under 4 years, you're going to have to sharpen your skills, because it's not just about building my database and it's not just about, being consistent. It's also about knowledge and skill, which again comes down to coming to the writing offer workshops. In February, I'm doing the negotiations class. It's really important that you can put out there to the public that you've mastered negotiations. Like, that's a great post. You want to work with me because I've mastered negotiating. I'll be able to get you the best deal, on a house or something like that. So we're putting together, classes that will help you sharpen those skills, right? And then that's what you're publicizing then. Not just work with me because I want you to, work with me because I'm going to help you, and this is how I'm going to do a better job than the others, right? So sharpening those skills and really digging in deep is going to be a really more important thing moving forward. Buyers are going to have more time because there's going to be houses start to build on the market. But in particular, for those of you who say to me, I really want to work more with sellers. I was doing a one-on-one the other day, and I think he said that his percentage of sellers for 2023 was only like 7%, and the rest was buyers. And he really wants to even just double that. sellers are picking you because of what you're gonna do for them, but also your skill. Where buyers just want the house and you're just kind of the tour guide who they
The
latch
middleman.
onto.
Middleman.
Yeah.
The one that they're using.
So if you want to work with sellers, you really got to master those skills. Questions about any of that? Calculating lifetime value. I would say that, remember this, like look at other big teams and the things that they're doing to market. Like Jose's team is always looking for clients for life. They promote this client for life program all the time. Everything they do is for clients for life. Everything they're doing is to have those people in that database to continuously think of them and use them again and refer them business. Importing all your contacts into your CRM. There is a way, don't ask me how, this is a Lynn question, to get all of your contacts from your cell phone right into Command. It just dumps them right in.
You go to the Command
MailChimp,
app.
yeah.
No, you go to the Command app and you go to your contacts and then it says import, and then you just press off.
Easy enough.
It's very
Love it.
easy.
Very, very easy. Lots of resources for you to be able to do that. Categorizing. Let's go a little bit deep with A's, B's, and C's in your database. This would be the portion of your database that you're looking at for actual buyers and sellers. Are they an A, are they a B, or are they a C? And defining what each of that means. So an A is someone who's going to buy or sell in the next 30 days. A B is from 30 to 60, and then a C is long-term. And then my goal is to get those Cs to be Bs and Bs to be As. Absolutely, just keep them moving. And so when you're tagging in your CRM, I would say it's a good idea to have A, B, and C as a tag in addition to their source of business. I'm going to teach a class, and I've done it before, a top 50 database. Can anyone tell me what that means? I know some of you have heard me talk about a top 50 before. What is your top 50 database?
The top 50 people in your database that would recommend you no matter what, when or where.
That's right. And if everyone doesn't have a top 50 database, they really need to get working on that. And your top 50 can start out with 3 people. That's okay. It's also never going to be 51. Never. It's never 51. That means if I have a new referral from someone, then they're going to go on my top 50. Someone's got to go. We can really nurture a top 50 database very easily versus 500 people. So those are our special people because they have, or we know 100% that they will refer us business or use us again. So like I have people in my top 50 database that have repeatedly, when you've been in the business for 25 years, the sad thing is you start to really realize how old you are becoming because you've used people that you've sold them their first house, you've sold them their second house, and now they're on their third house.
Yeah.
Or you've sold to them and then you start selling to their kids. I haven't gotten to the selling to the grandkids yet, thank goodness. So that's why the top 50 database is so important. And we're going to do a class on that in February as well.
I was gonna say, cause like what kind of smart plans do you put your 50 data or?
So
Yeah.
it's still a smart plan.
Okay.
The difference is I've added in pop buys. So
Okay.
I'm only doing pop buys with my top 50 database. I'm not doing top 50 pop buys for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that I sell houses to. There's just no way. Also there's always room on the top 50 for new business if I like them. If I don't like them and I can't wait till the transaction's over, see ya. I don't want your business. I don't want, like there's just those people. We always have that, that were problem situations. But I always like to look at the last person I sold a house to or sold a house for is, would they be somebody that should qualify to be on my top 50 database? And here's why. You're fresh in their mind. So you're more likely to get a referral from somebody who's fresh right now working with you. Isn't it funny how we don't ask for referrals from our clients that we're currently working with? Who do you think's more likely to talk about real estate? Ever have a friend that's pregnant or getting married? That's all they talk about. So if they're buying and selling a house, I promise you that's what they're talking to their friends and family about. And if your name isn't coming out of their mouth, then it's because you didn't ask them to do so. So you're actually more likely to get a referral from the person that you're currently working with. And we wait until the transaction closes to ask for referrals. We should be asking for referrals during the transaction. Hey, Danny, do you like how things have been going working with me?
That's all right.
And the best compliment that you can give an agent is a referral. So I would love it if you'll keep me in mind. Let me give you a stack of my business cards. I mean, it's as simple as that. It shouldn't be weird. Also sending thank you cards along the way to your buyers and sellers. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you. That should be coming out. Every time I go to a listing appointment, I immediately send them a thank you card for having me over. And then when they list, a thank you card for, I'm so excited to be doing business with you. And same goes with the buyer. Don't miss opportunities. So when someone says, I need to write 10 handwritten note cards a week, and who the heck am I going to write it to? Well, if you're sending thank you cards to not only everybody who went to open house, but everybody that you showed a house to for the first time in a listing appointment, and then thanking them for doing business with you, and not only after they bought or sold. But back to your question about the pop buys. So my pop buys, so like when I do mums in the fall, it's going to my top 50. That's it.
Gotcha.
It's always
Do
just
you,
the
do you
50.
buy 50 mums? then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the $5 ones.
Yeah.
So it's not that costly. And then I get those little, that looks like a sword, like a plastic sword that you stick in there, and then it's just put your business card on it.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
then I've even done this in the past where I've created a small postcard that says something about the fall. And so it's not just a regular business card. And it also says something about social media. If you're not following me on social media, there's a QR code on it or something different like that. I've done gingerbread houses at Christmas time before. There's a lot of different opportunities for pop buys. I'm actually hoping that they don't answer the door, they're not home, because I can just leave it.
Yeah.
If they've recently bought a house from me or sold a house with me, I might buy them a little bit of a bigger mug.
Okay.
So there's that. Also, I know a lot of agents do this, and I have done this in the past too. In the Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th, do pie giveaways. So you can buy pies in bulk from places for $5 and do those giveaways too. So that would be a pop buy for those people. And then you're reminding them that you're thanking them for their referrals or for their business and future business. So that's why I'm doing that differently. I can't do that for the whole database, but I
Gotcha.
can for my top 50.
Okay.
Sending out home anniversary and birthday cards is also really important, even if you do it electronically. So like, let's just say, oh my gosh, I just can't spend all this money on postage. I just can't spend all, because note cards aren't cheap, by the way, either. Maybe that's something that you can also do that through, I don't think you can do it through Command and Designs, but you can through like Breakthrough Broker that our title company provides for us. You can actually go on there and do postcards and mailings that you just get your credit card in there and you never have to touch it. So there's a lot of different ways of
I
doing
usually
it.
send a text.
And there you go. Yeah, absolutely. So you
That
can
was
do
one of my
different
goals
things.
this year, was to go through and update as many people as I can their birthdays.
And you know what? It's funny too. If you can just start from the beginning. So here's a little tip to be able to get people's information at the closing. Create some type of a little cardboard thing that they can fill out that says things like, tell me everybody in the family's name, tell me your pets' names, tell me everybody's birthday, what's your favorite gift card, different things like that. And that way then you know, and you have the information, and it's not weird. It's not a weird like, hey, when's your birthday? You
I
know,
usually do that at the beginning.
or you can do it at the
I
beginning.
do it at the beginning so that the next time that I show them a house or whatever, they could give it to me the next time.
That's
And I
awesome.
just keep that for like record.
It's a great thing to put in your packet, like your
Yeah.
marketing packet for your buyers and sellers. You can have something like that in there. So lots of different ways of getting the information. It also sends a message, don't you think?
Good idea.
If somebody who I'm about to work with or I'm considering work with is actually asking information about my life, I kind of feel like they're going to do something with that information,
Right.
and it makes me feel more important to them than just someone who just showed up to show me a house. I would hear it says update your LinkedIn account, but also making sure that you're friends with those people on social media as well. It is not weird to friend request your clients on social media. However, I have had this happen once, and this was years and years ago when Facebook was just a beginning thing. And I friend requested the husband and not the wife, only because she was not on social media. He was. And she texted me and said, did you friend request my husband? And I was like, well, I was gonna friend request both of you, but you weren't on social media. And she was, but it was with her maiden name. And how could I possibly know that? And I said, I friend request all of my clients. That's just an automatic thing that I do. So that's kind of scarred me with that. So how I've changed that up so that never happens again is in my buyer packet or in my listing packet, I have a page that talks about social media.
Yeah.
And that please like me on social media or I'll friend request you on social media kind of a thing. It's also hard to find people on Facebook. I find even our agents, as you guys are new, I try to search you all, but not everybody is the name that I know them by on social media. So it's not always easy. Or there's 25 people with that name.
Yeah.
So definitely doing that. Here's another tip with social media. If you guys aren't doing this, you need to be creating groups and tag those groups or label those groups for how I know those people. Everybody that I've invited to an event, they're going to go in an event group on social media and I'm going to put them in the group. And does anyone know why it's important? How does it benefit you to have your friends in groups?
Networking.
In particular, what would be a target reason for wanting them to be in a group though?
Like invite them to other things that you show
Oh.
that interest.
Client appreciation events.
Well, lots of things you can put in the group, but you can also put that on social media. Here's why. Everybody log on to your Facebook. What's the very first thing you see every morning?
Person's anniversary.
It's a happy birthday to someone at Living or at Legacy or Elevate in your feed.
Oh,
If you're part of Living's Facebook
I
group,
am.
then
Yeah.
that should be one of the first things that you see. And here's why. If you're in a group and if you're in Living's group and someone's birthday is today, it's going to be on the top of your feed. So that means when you have your clients and your database in a group, they will be guaranteed to see every single thing you post. And not just the 25 people in the algorithm, because you're going to share it to the group. So I'm going to post and I'm going to put it on my feed and then I'm going to share it to this group and I'm going to share it to that group and I'm going to share it to that group. And that way, all of those people, as soon as they log on, are going to see that first. So that I'm going to reach more people. So that's the reason why you want to create groups, is because when you share to the group, you're reaching more people. And it also makes them feel like they're part of a group. And then you can, that can be causing other people to talk about different things. So like, depending on where the group is from, like, is it my pickleball tournament that I sponsored group? Then those people are talking about different things like that. And then you're feeding that group. What else? Because we're gonna run out of time here. There's a whole 30-day thing here, guys. We're gonna log off here in about 3 minutes because we've got our team meeting here. Marketing campaign preparation. We have so many resources here for marketing. If you don't know how to market, I will tell you that, again, meeting with me, meeting with Lynn, meeting with Janice, we're going to be able to help you with that. I do a lot of classes on that. I'm going to be doing a class in February on social media marketing, campaigns on Facebook, newsletters. I love the newsletter idea. I do a quarterly newsletter to my database, and it can be about a lot of different things and just random. It's random, invaluable information about anything. I like to use the seasons to give me different content for that. Also this, in the drive, I have a calendar for social media that you can pull up and print or use it electronically, that it gives you every month and what should my topics be for the whole year. And map it out for yourself ahead of time, and then you're much more likely to do it and stay in the habit of doing it. And then just use the seasons and the holidays for content for that. That makes that first swipe of post really easy if you're using it towards the seasons and the holidays.
Is there much to ask? For that while you have it open or
What, this is already in the drive.
in the drive?
Yep. So this whole thing I've got here is under action plan in the folder in the Google Drive. Yep, no problem. Or I would, but my computer doesn't seem to doesn't like that printer. Yeah, you do. Scheduling the perfect week. And again, this is something that you're going to do continuously. Like that would be, again, making sure that you have your time blocking done. Nothing like having a great, like I am a time blocking nut. For those of you who've heard me say it, like every single thing I do in my life is time blocked. everything, even cleaning my house. Setting up a Google business. You should Google yourself. I would challenge everybody to Google yourself. I was in a one-on-one 2 days ago and we were talking something about internet leads. And I said, have you Googled yourself? And he said, no. So I did. And shockingly, he's the only one that came up. He like, and right at the top too. So like I put his name and then the word realtor and he actually came up on Google. And so for the marketing that he's doing, I said, because he's trying to do first time home buyers. I said, what if you can put a page on your website that is labeled something about information about first time home buyers? And then if somebody went on Google and they typed in those keywords, first time home buyers, and it was connected to your website in some way, you can bring yourself business that way. So learn about Google, learn about keywords and how you can get those people just to click to your website. They don't even know they were selecting you. It just got transported there. What else? Auditing and finding those gaps in your database. Scheduling 5 meetings with professionals. So that would be like the networking thing. Who else could I be connected with that we can bounce ideas and meet regularly? We've got a lot of people actually I know in coaching that have little mini network groups. All right, questions about any of that before I end? And there's just some other information on here about keeping track. I know there's 5 questions in the chat here, so let me stop share and see if I can look at your questions. Where'd that go? Ah. Did that answer your question, Xavier, what a CRM is? Oh, you said never mind. Got it. Sorry.
Yeah, it came up in the, I'm sorry.
On the sheet there.
Yep, I'm done. I'm muting.
No, you're good. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being here. And Janice and I will be expecting your 3 sources of business that you're working on this year. Let's just say by the end of the day tomorrow. And then I would love for you guys to come on Monday to dominate your week and tell us a little bit about the plan that you have wrapped around at least one of those. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.